We're back. Brand new episode. If you missed last week, you're dead to me. Anyways.
So aggressive.
Like and subscribe or whatever. All the analytical stuff. It helps me or something. I don't know. We're back with our universe mode. Alright, let's get raw on the way. Clearly, we have one hell of a show for you tonight. Um, Undisputed Era opened the show in the ring. Adam Cole asked Finn, "What the hell was that last week, huh? Really? You lost to Santos? You should be ashamed. You are so lucky that wasn't a championship match, or else there would have been major consequences. Look, it was an accident, but don't worry. Next week, we take care of Legato. Me, Mello, and JD will make sure they don't make it to Backlash." Santos' music hits, and he says, "Wow, Adam, I'm offended. Really, I am. Acting like I'm not a threat. Listen, just 'cause the idiot GM of SmackDown didn't make use of my talents doesn't mean that I'm not one of the greatest luchadors of all time. And let me tell you, Finn, you should know this. You should know this already. You have a beautiful Latina wife. Latinos, they got the heart to take it anything we want whenever we want. And right now, I want that title. So I'm going to take it. So next week is going to be a preview of Backlash. All right. Yeah. Finn says, "You leave my wife out of this, you son of a bitch. I'll end you." Santos smiles and says, "I want to see you try." This is for part of the Women's U.S. Championship tournament. Uh, Bianca wins, law. Sorry, Kalani. After the match, Bianca grabs a mic. She says Mania was rough. That was her first loss at Mania. But now she's focusing on becoming the first ever Women's United States Champion, and she's ready to represent America. We get a Bailey backstage promo saying how good it is to be back on Raw. She says she felt like on SmackDown she just didn't belong. She feels like Raw is going to be a much better place for her, and she's ready to go and become the first ever Women's United States Champion. As she finishes, Roxanne walks up to her. They have a stare down for a while. Rox says, "This is my division. I'll see you around." "Yes, you will," Bailey replies as we move on. We get this tag match. During their entrance, we see Jay, Mox, and Roman come out. They stand at the top of a ramp for a while when Paul Heyman comes out behind them. Massive pop. The Shield win. Law. Backstage, we see Tiffany and Bliss. They're watching the tag match when it ends. Bliss says that the men did a good job with that title defense. Tiffany says that yeah, they did, and that they should try hosting an open challenge. That's when they're interrupted by the Meta Girls, who say that they call dibs. Bliss says that the new kids on the block want to prove what they got, and they're ready to knock them down a peg, so they accept. We get a Chelsea Green promo package saying that she's going to make history. Next week, she faces Rhea Ripley in round two of the Women's United States Tournament. And she's going to pull the biggest upset imaginable, and she will move on to become the first ever Women's United States Champion. Backstage, the Shield celebrate their victory when they get a knock on the door. Roman goes to answer it. It's none other than CM Punk. "What do you want?" "I want to talk to my friend. You're wise man." Roman cautiously tells Heyman to come over. Heyman says, Oh, Punk, I didn't expect you to come here. I thought we'd move our separate ways after what happened on SmackDown. Punk just smiles and says, "You know I don't just move on, Paul. As far as I'm concerned, we're still in this together. So when you're done messing around with these clowns, come see me." Roman starts to get in his face when Paul Heyman pulls him back and says, "Listen, I appreciate everything you did for me on SmackDown. I'll go hear you out, but that's it. No guarantees. I'll talk to you next week." Punk just smiles and leaves. Right? Natalia versus Thea Hale. Natalia wins. After the match, Roxanne comes out and they have a little promo battle. Roxanne says that her becoming a WWE superstar was all thanks to Natalia. Natalia was the one who gave her that advice all those years back. When Roxanne points to the Titantron, and we see a clip of her on Total Divas as a 13-year-old asking Nat for advice. We cut back to Rox. She says that as much of a surreal match as this is going to be for her, it's going to be very bittersweet because she's going to have to put down one of her heroes. That says that as much as this means to her to have inspired a young woman to become a pro wrestler, she's also upset that she's going to have to teach people like Rox that sometimes the underdog wins. She knows she's not favored in this matchup, but she has the heart to take down Rox. All right. Uh, Bailey versus Jada, Women's United States Championship Tournament. Bailey wins. Oh, Bailey. Ooh. Main event segment, however, not a long one. Gunther's in the ring with Aleister Black. They both have mics. None of them are speaking. They just stare at each other. Gunther finally is picking up the mic to speak, but instead he just throws the mic right at Black's head. Black is stunned. Gunther charges and starts beating him down with a chop and massive forearms. Gunther takes a second to taunt the crowd. That was a mistake. Gunther turns around and gets hit with a black mass. Gunther's laid out in the middle of the ring. Black hits a springboard moonsault, waits for Gunther to get back up, and hits another black mass on him. Black holds the title up high as we end the show. And that is your Raw for today. Coming in at like 8 minutes.
Episodes are definitely shorter right now.
Yeah, I thought it would be longer, but not too bad.
Seth Rollins opens the show and speaks about how Drew retained his title last week. Says he deserves better from Drew. Drew says he deserves better from Drew. Drew comes out and says he had to walk through 1,000 miles of crap just to get this title back around his waist. It was not allowing it to end less than a week after winning it. Seth and Drew are face to face in the ring when Sammy comes down to the ring. Sammy says he is owed his title rematch. Both men ignore him. Sammy pushes them apart, and the three men get into a huge brawl. Bronson Reed gets into the ring and helps Sammy level the playing field, and Sammy and Bronson stand tall. We then go to commercial. We come back for our opening match of the night: Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles. Kevin Owens wins. Uh, AJ Styles is walking backstage after losing when he gets interviewed about the match. He speaks for a bit about being disappointed when Ethan Page confronts him. He tries to cheer up AJ, but AJ just mopes away after losing his chance at the US title. Kevin Owens is then interviewed about beating AJ Styles and possibly getting a title shot against Braun Breaker. Kevin says how he feels doesn't matter. All that matters is sooner than later a title is around his waist. Kevin goes to walk away when he gets speared by Braun Breaker. Braun gets up and says, "You think you could just decide when to get a shot at my title, huh? Well, newsflash, buddy. No one gets a title shot unless I say they get a title shot. New Day are speaking with the Big E about winning last week and earning a shot at the tag titles. Big E says they did earn a title shot last week, so at Backlash we'll see the New Day take on the Final Testament's AOP. The Final Testament then arrives and congratulates New Day on their win. Cross says he looks forward to the matchup and is going to do them a favor. Next week you are going to see the Authors of Pain in action. And when you see the destruction they cause, you'll at least have another week to reconsider your choices of going after these tag titles. We then go down to the ring for the Triple Threat Women's Tag and the tournament style matchups to find the new challengers for Tiffany and Bliss. Dakota and Io come out victorious. Dakota and Io celebrate their win as they head backstage. The Kabuki Warriors are there to celebrate with them, but it seems like Asuka is having to force a smile, as when Dakota and Io turn away from her, the smile quickly drops. Um, then see Cora Jade is interviewed about what happened last week between her and Becky. Cora says that Becky overlooked her and thought she was just going to obey and not do anything with her briefcase. So when she took that title, Becky got upset because she, in her mind, got screwed out of the women's title. She then goes to speak about Charlotte being given a title shot next week when Becky charges in and attacks her. Becky is pulled away by security and yells that she is going to take everything away from Cora. Cora is down, holding her head as cameras cut back to the ring. We go in for Braun Breaker versus Chad Gable. Towards the end of the match, we see Braun Breaker on the outside setting up a massive spear. As he begins his charge around the ring, he gets a chair thrown at him. Kevin Owens then appears out of nowhere and runs over and starts beating up Braun Breaker. Kevin then gets Braun up and seemingly is going for a powerbomb on the apron, but Breaker manages to get off his shoulders. Braun then goes to charge back in for a spear on Owens, but Kevin pulls Chad into the way to take the move instead. Kevin then escapes through the crowd. Sammy and Bronson Reed enter Biggie's office and speak about the brawl that happened at the start of the show. Sammy said he called dibs on being the next challenger, and neither Seth or Drew are seemingly taking him seriously. Biggie says he has spoken with both men throughout the night, and they have come to a decision. On the go-home show to Backlash, it will be Sami Zayn taking on Seth Rollins, and whoever picks up the win will go on to face Drew at Backlash for the title. Sami says he shouldn't have to earn the title shot, but it'll have to do. Charlotte is then interviewed about the attack on Cora tonight from Becky. Charlotte says it doesn't bother her one bit, as long as Cora is up and standing next week for her to regain her title that she never was pinned for, then all will be forgiven. Kathy then asks what if Becky gets involved in your match next week and costs you the chance at regaining your title. Charlotte's face then becomes serious as she might have not thought about that, then says if Becky costs me that title, that she already knows what's going to happen, and I'm sure she's smart enough to not want to relive that. Um, oh yeah, for the Braun and Chad Gable match, Braun wins by DQ. Um, we then move into the main event, Cody Rhodes versus Ricochet. Ricochet has a different approach to this matchup. It seems like siding with Cross has brought out a more serious side of him, and his moves seem to be more impactful. Despite this, Cody is in position to win the match towards the end. As Cody gets Ricochet in position for the Crossroads, both Akam and Razor get up on the apron. Cody drops Ricochet and is arguing with both Akam and Razor before knocking them off the apron. Once he turns around, though, Ricochet connects with a super kick, dropping Cody down to the mat. He then backs up into the corner and nails a hidden blade on Cody as he is starting to get up. Ricochet then covers Cody. 1, 2, 3. Ricochet wins.